Welcome to today's topic of discussion, which is very important and a sensitive one, that is sextortion. I'm your host, Surangama Guha. As a parent, it's quite natural to protect our children from any harm. But in today's online world, which is not at all safe, it's very daunting and it's an unpredictable place. So, sextortion in particular as a growing concern and between children and parents, and it can have a devastating consequences in the children. So, with me joining today is Pinky Roy, a student counselor with a renowned international school in Hyderabad. We will be discussing sextortion and how parents can take preventive measures against sextortion and protect and support their children who are the victims of sextortion. So, Pinky, welcome to our show. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Surangama. I'm fine, but also wanted to thank you for providing me with this platform to share my thoughts on this critical issue today.
Oh, thank you. We are honored to have you on our platform. So, Pinky, since you're an expertise in this field, let me understand with what sextortion is and how it affects children.
As you will also agree with me, in this fast-paced digital world, uh, the whole world has come very close to us. It's an online world. And a lot of technology is being used. What it used to be even 20 years before, the situation is not there right now. So definitely technology has advanced. It has been a big boon to us, and life has become simple, but it has also given us many threats, and sextortion is one of those threats which is, I would say, coming very prevalent now. And the most vulnerable section of the society, that is children, young adults, are vulnerable to this kind of a crime. I would say it is almost like a crime, wherein, and it happens online, wherein there is a person, a fake identity, a person approaching a child or a young adult with requests of friends request and all, and you're requested to share your personal photograph or your personal information. After the friendship is done, then they start kind of blackmailing the person or the child in lieu of money. It can be for some other sharing of more important content, and it can also be like doing some tasks. So it is kind of a negotiation wherein the person whom we don't know, and posing as a fake identity, approaching the children or the young adults, whoever is, kind of facing this kind of a situation. And they do share their personal information, and that is being traded against money or other information, more personal information, images, videos.
Yes, that was my next question, Pinky. That what are the common tactics used by the extortionist to
Yeah.
manipulate children?
See, it is because there is a lot of digital footprints that we have today. We are going out for shopping. We are, registering for various websites. I mean, children also do that, right? So we are leaving our digital footprints. That is where these people who are into this kind of a fraud, online scams, they pick the details, the personal phone numbers, email IDs. Email IDs are also hacked, and taking those numbers and personal details, they will approach the child or the adult, young adult, with a friend's request, or they will pose that as if they are from the same family friend, or same community, peer group, same school. And then once you have kind of accepted it, they will try to strike a kind of a friendship with you, citing common interest, common hobbies. So once you kind of connected with the person, that's in when the video chats will start happening. After the
Right.
video chats are done, and the next step would be that share your photograph or share
Hmm.
an image or a video. And obviously, if the person doesn't agree, because the child does not know what is actually happening, it is a very innocent activity initially. So the person will definitely say these things, that it is very common, everybody is sharing, and let me share my photograph. And
Hmm.
obviously, a photograph is being shared, and that is definitely not it's a fake identity.
Fake.
And the child is kind of now completely, believing, trusting the person. And that's when the personal information, crucial videos, important, personal things will be shared. And once it is shared, the whole racket is on, the whole scam has started. Now, the exploiter has got access to your personal information, and that's when all the negotiation will start. So if you do this, then you are okay. If not, then I'm going to share this personal information with your friends and families. Then fear sets in. Then there is lot of anxiety. Now the child starts feeling guilty. Now he or she realizes that a mistake is already done, but it's like
Done.
a loophole. Now the person cannot escape. This is all how the whole thing runs, and it is like
Runs.
a cycle.
Correct. What are the common signs that a child, maybe who is a victim of sextortion? Any common signs of sextortion in a
Yes, so
child?
if we are very observant as parents or as teachers around, if we see children trying to hide their phone screen, taking the laptop screen off the moment an adult walks in, a child is staying away, is constantly keeping him or herself locked in the room. Regular activities like going for swimming or playing cricket or football, whatever those hobby activities, the child is not attending. Deliberately, when there is a get together at home or friends and family have come, the child will stay away. All social alienation.
Hmm.
These will be all the symptoms that the child will exhibit. Finally, there will be loss of appetite also if the child is not coming and having dinner or
Right.
lunch, and whatever amount of food we know as parents, right? Okay, the child is eating this much, appetite has gone down. Finally, there will be loss of weight, and we can see apparently the child is not feeling well.
Hmm.
Everything cannot be, each and every symptom that I have said cannot be ignored. It can be a sextortion, it can be anything else as well, which is something related to this.
Right, right. Any resources available to parents who suspect the children who have become the victim of sextortion?
See, if you go online, definitely data will be there, but I still feel that age appropriate digital literacy is one of the important things that the parent should be aware of himself or herself, and then educate the child on the pros and cons of all of these things. See, I started my conversation saying digital footprints. So many
Hmm.
times parents also unawareingly, share phone numbers and pictures. We are on Facebook. So people have gone out for holidays and they post pictures. I know, probably we want to share it with our families, but we don't know there is somebody who's kind of hacking your email account and getting access to those private photographs. So somewhere, that digital literacy also needs to come on the parents' front, and it needs to be shared age appropriately with the children.
So what are the steps parents can really, take to prevent sextortion?
See, I think two important things they can do. One is being with the child. That does not mean like helicoptering the child all the time. I don't say that, you need to be monitoring each and every activity, because as a young adolescent or as a young adult, nobody will like that. But when I say being with the child is just having understanding what the child is involved. So if the child is speaking on the phone, maybe you're not disturbing the child, but you know which friend he is or she is speaking. If the child is hiding the phone away and is not being able to tell you whom he or she is speaking, then it's a alert. So that conversation should immediately start that, you know, how can I help? Or is it that something is bothering you? We can always talk and sort it out.
Sort
And
it out.
not
Are there
judging the child.
Pinky, are there any final thoughts or final thought or advice you would like to give the parents regarding sextortion?
See, the final thing that I would like to share is, as parents or as caregivers or teachers or mentors, we should not ignore simple symptoms and signs, and we generally tend to say, okay, fine, we'll take care maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm going to check that out. No, small things, small changes, small behavioral manifestations needs to be probed and understood, because till the time the child is grown up, they are emotionally resilient and they become adults, the mission for parenting is on.
So, thank you, Pinky, so much for sharing your valuable insights and your expertise, comments, and advice on sextortion. And I think that we, the audience, and all the parents and caregivers are really aware of exactly what sextortion is and what are the preventive measures they can take. So, just a one-liner, Pinky, regarding sextortion.
So trust your children, have respect, and make them understand about boundaries.
True, very true. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, before you move on to the next video, I have a request to make. If you like this video and this podcast, if you gained some valuable information out of this video, I would request you to click on the subscribe button as well as follow us on our social media pages. The links are given in our description. Also, do sign up to our website, www.shesitmag.com. We have amazing women stories as well as various women initiatives that are getting launched in the coming months. I'll see you there.